Today, I'm going to talk about a few makeup tips that are pretty simple, easy to do. I would say beginners can get them under their belt fairly quickly. We're not going to do anything too complex or advanced, but we're going to do things that I think will help your everyday makeup routine get a little bit simplified. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk about priming your eye. Now, priming your eye is not the same as eye primer, which is a product. It's actually a technique that I use on about 99% of my beauty culture looks. Every time I go out, every time I do my makeup, I'm gonna do this no matter what colors I'm doing on my lid, no matter what colors I'm doing on my face or lips. It's almost always time. The only time I wouldn't prime my eye this way is if I'm doing something like a face mask or face painting or character makeup or theater or something like that. But for every single look, I'm talking brides or boudoir or smoky eye, I'm talking orange and neutral, I'm going to start with this as a foundation, as a base. The first step, there's only 3, so it's super simple. First step is I'm going to take that eye base that we just talked about, and I'm going to use a flat, stiff bristled brush, and I'm going to apply a very sheer wash of the product over my whole entire eyelid. Now, what's really important about this is that there's just nothing cakey or even or uneven about it. It's just a sheer wash using a MAC 242 stiff bristled brush. And I'm just gonna go in there and I'm just gonna get the entire eyelid all the way up to the brow, and making sure to get into that lash line. We don't want anything, like I said, splotchy or streaky. Do the same on the other eye. And the reason I like to use a stiffer bristled brush for applying product is because it's going to really help spread it evenly. I like to use a fluffier brush for when I'm blending a product. So if you're putting a product on, you want stiffer bristles, and if you're trying to blend, you want softer, fluffier bristles. So we'll get to that. Next step, I'm going to take another stiffer bristled brush, it's hard to say, and I'm going to take a bigger one. This is the 252 from MAC. I'm going to dip it into a shimmery color, and I want to show you what I'm using. This is Shroom from MAC, and I've got my palettes all built, so I can't show you the color name, but so Shroom is like a beige bisque with a little bit of a shimmer. And I do like to use a shimmer to highlight my eyebrow bone just because it catches the light and bounces off and kind of opens up your face. It's a little trick. You can use a matte at this stage. I know some women or some people like to prefer to use a matte eyeshadow up there, just a little bit lighter than their skin tone. Go right ahead. I do prefer a shimmer on most people. So now I'm going to take it underneath my eyebrow bone, and I'm going to go just all the way over and down and out. You really can't make a mistake. I'm going into this crease and all the way up, and again just buffing that in. Take the other eye, same thing, all the way over, just smear it down into that crease. It's going to be where you're stopping. Now, a lot of women look at me and they ask, I don't know where my crease is. I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure what to do with that. And this is my advice. Take a piece or a makeup brush and just stick it into your socket. Right there, where that bone is and that eyeball is, that's your crease. That's your natural crease. Now, some people, it's a little bit trickier because they have a hooded eyelid where their eyelid comes down over their eye, if you want to think of Jennifer Lawrence. Or if you have an Asian eye, you might have to create a crease, and you can definitely do that using a little bit of eyeshadow as contour. So that's another good thing to think about. But for right now, we just kind of smear it all over. Like I said, this really, you can't make a mistake. You can't use too much or too little. It's such a light color, and it's just going to blend in. There's almost nothing there. Next step, I'm going to take a fluffy brush. Now, this is my favorite. This is a MAC 217. Any brush that's nice and fluffy and dome-shaped like this is going to be just fine to get into that crease. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a color that is called Texture from MAC, and that's this one right here. And I'm going to get my bristle in it, get a good amount on there, And then I'm gonna go ahead and take that same brush with the texture, this warm brown. Now, like I said, I could be doing a very cool eye. I could be doing something smoky, and I would still use this warm brown. It's important for 2 reasons. One, you wanna have a third color to blend into. So when I'm having my lid color and I'm having my highlight color, this third medium, I can keep going back with the same brush and blending and blending. And when people say that, if you think you've blended enough, blend again. That's my advice as far as smoky eyes or anything kind of like natural smoky or anything like that goes. Now I'm gonna take this right here and I'm just gonna kind of work it into the back of my hand. And I just don't want that fallout. I've already done my foundation and my bronzer and blush and highlight on my face. So I really don't wanna ruin my concealer and everything by having all the eyeshadow fall down onto my face. So I'm gonna work it into the bristle. When you do your eyes first, without doing your face makeup first, you can go ahead and just let everything fall and then just take a wipe and clean it up. When you use an airbrush foundation, you cannot do foundation second and you have to do your face first. So you have to be a little bit more careful when you do your eyes. Taking that 217, just going back and forth, like I said, tiny little circles. And just really just kind of buffing into that crease, looking straight forward. You should just be able to sink that shadow brush in there and back and forth. You can't really go too high at this point. You can't really go too low. There are no mistakes right here. I'm gonna get a little bit more product on the brush and I'm gonna do the same thing for the other eye. Just literally sink it in right there and just go back and forth on top of your eyeball. The second reason that I talked about the importance of priming your eye is so that you know how high to take color. First good reason is that you have that third blending color, and that third party really does do a good job of getting everything together and playing nicely. The other reason is that now I have this blueprint on my eye. When I want to go smoky, and when people say they look like they got punched in their face, it's 90 times out of 100 just because their eyeshadow is too high for the black, or it falls down below and they don't wipe it up successfully and it gets mixed with their concealer, and then you look just, ratchet. So this right here tells me exactly where my lid is now, from here to my crease, and that's where I would keep my smoky. Now this primed eye, we're done, by the way. So this is the 3 steps. Every single day of my life, I do this. I prime it with a primer. My eyelids crease incredibly, like they're just greasy, I guess. And this stuff really does a great job of stopping any creasing for me and keeping that shadow on. Second step is gonna be that highlight. I want that shimmery color right on that brow bone, just so when light hits you, it just opens up that face and everything just looks a little bit brighter for you, especially in photography. It looks great. And the third step is taking that warm brown and just working it in back and forth, little circles, windshield wipers, whatever you want to do. Keep this brush handy because we're going to use it again to reblend after I do anything on my lid. Now this at this point would be a really nice opened up warm eye to just do some really dramatic liner on, or maybe some fun lashes, and leave your eyes like this. You don't need more as far as like red carpet makeup or beauty culture goes. This is just kind of a natural warm, do your liner, do your mascara, and move on with your day. We've done enough, it's contoured, it's a little bit opened, and you're all set to get going. So this is what I call priming my eye. I'm gonna probably refer to priming my eye about 1 million more times in everything else that I write and do, and I'll continue probably priming eyes for every client and bride and makeup application that I do from now until forever. So, all right, priming your eye, good to go. Thank you. All right.